guys. Where you at here? Let's get some sound going. We'll set the alarm in there.
That's horrible.
That is horrible, isn't it? Yeah, that is horrible. So, what's really bad? Got a few people popping in here. Hey guys, welcome to a night here with Whitey and Darren. We just popped in here to kind of, shoot the stuff, have a beverage, talk about a little modeling. Really, it's just a kind of an open night to discuss whatever it is you guys want to discuss. Do me a favor as you pop in here. Leave us a comment. Let us know who you are, where you're from. I'd appreciate it. And we can get this show going. Let us know if you got... Well, there's old Steve Workman's popped in there.
Steve-O.
What's going on, Steve? Steve-O. Welcome. I know some of you guys are hiding in there because I see there's like 4 of y'all popped in here, but we're getting some folks in, but nobody's saying anything. Usually that was Steve-O that used to not say much, and he's the first one to pop off. I know where Steve-O's from. He's just down the road. This for Steve-O. Yeah. Who else we got popped in here? I'm looking at about 8 people. As y'all pop in here, why don't y'all give us a quick hello? Let us know who you are, where you're from. It's not telling me who's popping in. So tonight we are just hanging out, having a beverage, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So, there's Andrew Frill.
Frilldopolis.
Call sign.
He's vacationing up in Blue, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, we're not gonna. Let's not go there.
We won't.
That'll make for a bad night. Don Alexander popped in down in Florida. How you doing, my friend? Welcome to the broadcast. We are my buddy Whitey. Oh, there's Deb Sheridan, one of my good friends from down in Virginia Beach. Hey, Deb. We have no, it's not my state, Frill. It's a place I like to go up and just sit in the woods up at camp, but that's not my state. My state is Tejas. But yeah, we just popped in to have a beverage, hang out, talk a little glue, a little sprue, whatever you guys want to talk about. So as y'all pop in here, give us a hello. Let us know where you're from or where you're coming in at. And hey, if you're having a beverage, what you drinking? Yeah. A little slow getting off, but we got 14, 50, 17 that's popping up here. Sam Morgan. Oh, Sam, the Harrier
Sam's
guy.
local club guy.
Yeah, local club guy. Welcome, Sam.
What are you working on, Sam? Post it up. Tell us.
Yeah. What you got on your bench, Sam? Nope, it's Saturday night. You ain't got to work tonight, my friend, do you?
Yeah, no excuses, man.
Let's see.
Saturday night, young guy, you should be at your workbench.
That's right. So let's see who we got popped in here. We've got, of course, Steve and Frill, Don, Alexander, Deb, the pretty lady from Virginia Beach. We got
Deb a
Fernando.
modeler or what, man?
No, she's a good friend of mine. She's
okay.
She's part of my local support group down in Virginia Beach, and some of the old gang down there.
She should build a model, man.
Yeah, she should. No,
we should have her on and live building a model first time. Boom! Wouldn't that be awesome?
There you go, Deb. You up for that? Deb.
Putting her on the spot, man.
Yeah, we could do that. So we got Fernando, and pardon me, but let's see, we've got Dimipi. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. I know it. Let us know how that is pronounced if you can. Sam, and of course Andrew Frill, Chuck Tackett. Where are you from, Chuck? And look, there's Stanley George popping in there.
That's a
from.
familiar name.
Oh yeah, Stanley. He's from Texas. Uh, Ex-Army, and I'm sorry, Stanley. I don't remember what your rank was, but he's one hell of an armor modeler. I mean, well, he's one
Yeah, I
hell of
see
a
him on
modeler.
the I see him on the Grumpy page often
Oh
posting
yeah,
up stuff.
yeah. Stanley's
He's a,
Stanley's good. He's a great
he's one of
modeler.
those guys that I'm like, how does this dude have so much time to be at the like? I mean, I have time to be at the bench, but whenever he's like one of those dudes, I'll see. It's always something different he's working on. Like
Yeah,
I'll be at the bench plenty, but for 6 months I'm working on the same item, same thing. It's where Stanley, it's always something. Not only that, it's like aircraft armor.
yeah,
Uh, it seems to be something different every time. I'm just not that kind of modeler, man. I'm like a one genre type of dude, and I'm gonna be at it for like a month and a half
yeah.
before I
It
get the
takes me a while.
fuselage together.
I'm like the slowest builder ever. Oh, look, we got Charles Lockhart.
Yeah,
That's another name you're seeing around. Gil Vincent. He's in. Hey, Gil. Good to see you. Uh, yeah, Stanley. How do you do it so fast? Modeling, that is. Let me quantify. But you go through that plastic, my friend. I don't know how the hell you do it so fast.
he's not the only. I mean, even like guys in our club, like
Mm-hmm.
I can't keep up with the group builds.
Oh no.
I mean, it's like every month when we log on for these last few months doing our Zoom stuff. Uh, everyone's whipping out these. Okay, I'm working on this group build. I'm looking on, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm still. I can't even touch them because I'm working on whatever I'm working on, and I don't have time to keep up with group
Yeah,
builds, man.
I don't either. And I've got a couple of group builds sitting over here. They're just kind of sitting on the
I
shelf
think
of
I've
doom
probably
right now.
done in the what's that? I've been part of the Southern Maryland scale modelers for like shit 12 years,
Yeah.
give or take, and
Wow.
I think I've probably completed two of like club group build things,
Yeah.
man.
It's I don't. Well, it's still working. Full time. It's
Yeah,
hard. Taking care of the house and doing other things that need to be taken care of. So you know, you gotta take your time when you can get it. And then you got to pick your
exactly.
battles, if you will. You got to pick which kit am I going to do. So, but you're just a
And,
one
and that
kit
and that's
builder.
really me. Yeah, I try not to have a shelf of doom and 14 projects going on. When I start something, I want it done, and if I don't finish it, it's going in the trash can.
Yeah,
Not that that ever really happens that much. Can't remember the last time it has, but I mean, honestly, like I don't like to have like stuff sitting around. In fact, during the COVID thing here, the only quote shelf of doom thing I had going was I had that Snock missile, that Lindbergh kit,
yep, I
48 scale,
remember that. Oh, I do
and
remember that. You brought it to a couple of meetings.
yeah, and that's why I bought it, was because it was something cheap. It was something I knew I could build at our group, get-togethers that we used to have back when things were normal, and so during the COVID thing here, work from the house, having time here to do nothing but either work or build stuff. That thing was sitting over here on top of the workbench, and I was like, you know what, man, I gotta finish that, because I don't know when the next time we're all gonna get together in a group session and everything like that. So I was like, I'm gonna get that thing done, and I did.
Right.
It's done. Um, Not a contest winner or any of that thing, but it's done,
Let's
and
see.
it's
What are
not
you
languishing anymore.
What are you working on now?
Uh, F-16,
Oh,
YF-16,
that's right.
actually,
That's right. That was the test bird, right?
the prototype
Yeah, the prototype bird. Okay.
test. I guess it's a test
Well,
bird. And
yeah.
then if it's prototype, let me see if I can line it up on my camera.
Oh yeah. You're.
Here we go. What the fuck? All right, you got it. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'll
You're
hold it in
good.
front of my mug.
Yeah.
Well, you can see it's all taped up because I'm shooting the blue, got the red and the white done. Um,
Oh yeah.
there's the underside. Um, and it's now I'm not going to say this thing is 100% accurate by any means, but it's the
No,
YF-16 and it's a Hasegawa kit primarily, an A model F-16.
primarily. So that means you've done a little
Yeah,
grafting.
yeah. I hacked up the forward fuselage and grafted the not the entire forward, but the nose section is the Otaki or Entex. If you can find these kids, you can find them on eBay. The Entex Otaki F-16 represents the YF-16 prototype in more closely than any other. Let me reach over here to my bench again.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. So, folks, Grumps, you're gonna see that we're pretty informal with these things. So this isn't gonna be a professional broadcast. I hope that's not what you're looking for. So we're working it
I'm
though.
sort of professional.
Yeah,
Come on,
you
man.
are. Yeah, you've got a little history.
So I've always wanted to do that right there, right? I'm a kid of the 70s, 80s, man, and I was like, man, I want to do the YF-16. And so I grabbed this kit off of eBay, the wicked early. I, I'm not sure when this kit Tamiya 148 F-16, right? And the minute I got it, it was people post, "Oh, that's not actually the YF-16," and I never really paid too much attention one way or the other. I'm not an F-16 aficionado. But then I got looking at pictures online. I was like, holy shit, that thing is like way different than what the first two prototypes were. And then people were like, oh, the Otaki kit, which I never even heard of. I've heard of Otaki, but I didn't know they did an F-16. They said that thing has the most close nose section, stabs, wings, and everything. And it's an old kit from the early '80s. It's not very well detailed. So bottom line is I was off to a kitbash session and it sounded interesting to me enough, so you know Otaki, um, I had the Tamiya kit here, and then someone was like, if you get an early an F-16A from Haskell, you can kind of use that fuselage, so that's what I rolled with. And I don't know, to keep the rambling to a short degree here, basically used the nose from the Otaki kit, which is sharper and pointier, and put that onto the F-16, the Haskell F-16, shortened up the intake by about a quarter of an inch, shortened up the wing chord, not span, and the span a little bit, but the chord too. And then I used the stabs from the Otaki kit too because they're smaller than a normal F-16. And I made a post about this on ARC, and made the point to I like accuracy as much as the next guy, but I'm not sitting here with a set of General Dynamics plans on my bench and trying to recreate the YF-16, all its accuracies and all that shit. I mean, I just want something that looks cool. And the motivating factor was Caracal releasing this decal sheet.
Let's see. Slide those over. Just there we go.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Which is a great sheet. It's got, if you want to do an early F-16 prototype.
Now, how old is that sheet? How long ago did they come out?
Recently, within the last year.
Oh, okay.
Previous to this, Vingtor out of Norway had a sheet. It's hard to find now. HTF. It's a nice sheet as well. And then these guys, the guy who runs Caracal, Kursad, who I don't know, I've never met. I'd like to meet him. I was looking forward to meeting him at the Austin show or at the Nats this year, if that happened, because he was supposed to be he's from that area, I guess. And but we all know Caracal. He's been releasing some great sheets, particularly stuff from the prototypes, the YF-23, the early F-16 here. More recently, the early F-14s, which is a great sheet. I just got that the other day. I don't even have plans to build an early F-14, but
Well, you haven't bit off on buying any of the alphas, the Tamiya kit, or any of that. I'm working on the alpha now. But you said the other night
I
that you
have a
haven't
I
bit
do
off on
have
building.
I have a couple of them, but I just haven't jumped into them yet. The
Yeah.
Tomcats. But anyway, going back to Caracal's just been. I love his stuff, man. He just makes awesome decal sheets. They're printed. Most of his sheets are done by Cartograph. Some are done by Scale Master. Either way, the print quality is awesome. The research is great. Sharp, crisp decals, man. And I'm a decal geek. I have binders over here of
Yeah.
decals of kits I don't even have, but I'll buy the decals because I'm like, all right, I'm going to build that. Well, and I think I'm not the only one out here that does that, right,
Yeah.
man?
No.
I mean, cut the shit. I mean, we all do that. But with the YF-16, that particular one, I have always wanted to do that scheme, nostalgia, whatever. And so when that sheet came out, I grabbed it. And full disclosure, I'm credited on that sheet, and only because when he popped the idea on ARC, I sent him a photo when the Israeli Air Force sent their test pilot over to test fly the second prototype. We've all seen the aircraft with the flags on the side.
Yep.
For that session, they removed the Iranian flag and put the Israeli flag in place for the period that he was test flying it. So it was a very short period of time that Israeli flag was on that particular airplane,
Yep.
01568. And so when he was doing the sheet, I chimed in on the ARC and I was like, hey, man, if you do that, you should throw the Israeli flag on. That's kind of a unique, short short period of time that airplane had that. And he put that on the sheet and, whatever, man. He threw my
Yeah.
name on the in the credits, which
No,
I kind of
really.
thought was funny, man. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
You're 15 minutes of fame.
Thanks, dude.
you, you're 15 minutes of fame.
So, my first, I'm gonna do the YF-16, but if I do another one, kitbash or whatever, I'm gonna do the I'm gonna do 6.8, and of course do that Israeli time frame one with the Tamiya kit. Out of the box, that thing's in FSD, full scale development F-16. So basically, the first version of what went to production. So the decal sheet, the Caracal sheet, and the Victor sheet both provide decals to do that bird. So that's what that aircraft. That's what that model is going to wind up as.
I really.
And I started it on that while it was sitting off to the side, while
What? You've got
waiting for
two?
paint. Yeah, I kind of got
Well, you
two
broke
going.
your rule.
Right, I broke my own rule. While waiting for stuff to dry, I jumped on it and started into the old Tamiya kit here, which is kind of a classic kit, man. I mean, I remember seeing that thing in the stores when I was a
And which
kid.
one? Which? That's the one you just held up a while ago.
It's not, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
what we all know and think of as the Tamiya F-16
Roman.
right now. Is
Right.
not.
These.
This is
I got some.
from the 70s. Again, there's the box top.
Yeah.
And you can find these things on eBay for not very expensive or anything like that. But raised panel lines, the assembly goes together kind of funky for an F-16. It's 2.5 fuselage, vice what we're usually looking
Yeah.
at with an F-16 models is the two
Top and bottom.
top and bottom. But it's not very well. It's not very detailed. But I think I'm going to do it as a gear up on a stand type of deal, with a pilot in there, and the canopy is a one piece tinted canopy thing. So I'll just have it closed up and posed in flight type of deal, and I'll use those FSD decals that are available on the sheet to finish it out with.
Right. Well, I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
man.
You talk
Fun
about
stuff.
these.
I'm building.
These the raised
Have some
panel
fun
lines.
here.
I've never seen anybody do raised panel lines like you and Frill and Samo do on y'all's kits. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've never been able to tackle those and have much luck with them. So we might have to sit down and do a little tutorial session on raised panel lines, because when I look at the stuff that you guys do, all three of y'all with your raised panel lines, the stuff looks it looks recessed. I mean, until you get right up on it, I can't tell the difference. So
Appreciating.
it really looks
a little
good.
bit there. But I'm just not a. If you back up to the early '90s when it seems like that's when raised versus recessed panel lines became an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can't build that. It's got raised panel lines, man. I don't know. It's just not a thing with me. And you
Yeah.
know, our backgrounds, you and I,
Well, yeah.
probably
Yeah.
other listeners, we've all been around airplanes all our life.
Right.
Um, I've seen raised panel lines on real airplanes, man.
Well, I have
They're
too.
out there.
They are. Absolutely, they are.
Not everything's
Yeah.
recessed. So
No.
to for people to swear off, oh, it's got raised panel lines, I can't build it. Now, if you want to, I don't know. For me, it's just not a deal breaker. Where it is for a lot of other people.
Well, let's be honest.
Um,
Those that aren't recessed, they're really not recessed because all of them are sealed. Almost all of them have been taped and sealed over, right? So,
exactly.
what you're
Right.
actually seeing is an 8802 sealant, or I believe it was
Yeah.
8802 was the sealant. So,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
if you really want to break it down to brass tacks in 148, 172, or 132
yeah,
scale, or even up to 124 scale, you shouldn't see panel lines
yeah. I
anywhere.
mean, that's well, just a
Uh,
discoloration, basically. You wouldn't have
yeah.
much more than that. So, but I mean, that's a topic we could really dive way
Hmm.
deep into a rabbit hole on.
That sounds
Real
like
quick,
something
let's
for a podcast episode.
yeah, or something like that. Let's see what we've got here. So I want to go back here. It looks like I think hopefully Stanley's still around. He had said earlier we were talking about how he asked how he built them so fast, but he came back and said he's retired. He works on his kits about 5 hours a night. You know, uh,
Nice.
you know, I well I'm retired. Well, I can't wait. I'm working on the second retirement. We'll see what happens after that. But we know some folks out there that do the same thing. And of course, then he comes back when we. This is a comment. I know it's to Whitey though, saying he's trying to get to your skill level out there, because and you know what, Stanley, I don't know who you're knocking because I've seen your stuff. You're really good at what you do, my friend. You are a craftsman. Um,
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
let's see who we got. We have had popped on. Mike Sullivan popped on while we were talking. It's like Steven
well, I was
Steleric is
rambling.
watching. That's good stuff. You know, you guys, as y'all pop on, do me a favor and let us know where it is you are joining us from, and leave us a comment. Also, what are you guys working on? We know that Whitey's got his F-16 going. I'm working on uh, the old Tamiya F-14A, and she's getting there. I'm digging. There's the top of this thing's so big, it's just like an open canvas, man. There's just so much you can do with it. Uh, I did get those walkways done, uh, all hand done and stippled and weathered. So this thing's coming along quite nicely. I'm enjoying the heck out of it, to be honest with you. Been working on landing gear. One of my least favorite things to do, right? Landing gear. But this is that
Now you got
Kazan.
aftermarket gear, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is some really good stuff. It's that was it Kazan gear, resin gear, and I mean the detailing. I don't know if you
Where'd you
guys can
pick that up
see.
from?
I bought it straight from their website,
Okay.
and
Are they
it's
where are they? Korea or I have no
you know
idea. I
what?
mean, it's Eastern
I'll,
European
yeah,
company or
Eastern European. I'll look at it here and I'll put it in the
yeah.
comments after this is over. But it's it's some good stuff, man. It really is. Let's see. Gil Vincent Stanley did an awesome helo quite a quite a while back. A Chinook. Oh, I remember that build. He did up the inside of that. He really made that look good. That was nice. I do remember it. Mike Sullivan. He's working on the monogram Spitfire 148 scale. I haven't built
Classic
that one.
kit.
It is a
Great one.
classic kit, but I've never built it. But that's another one. That one had almost
Now
all.
is that the old school one with the retracting gear,
Oh,
or
that's a
is
good
it
question.
because they had two releases of the Spitfire monogram. I mean I know is
That's
the one that came out with like the 109 E and the Wildcat, all those classic boxings of the 148 scale World War II planes. That monogram suit, I probably built like 3 of those as a kid, man.
Is that right? With the retractable gear?
Yeah, and I think it's like I think technically it's like a Mark IV, but I probably put like Mark One decals on it as a kid because I
Is that right?
battled watching the Battle of Britain movie and everything like that.
Well, that's a
Um,
great question, Mike. Mike, let us know. Is that the one with the older one with? Oh, here he says no, it's the more recent version.
yeah, okay, and that's a great kit too. Um, when you get into comparing it to an Edward or the Tamiya, uh, Ta- Tamiya,
Yeah,
um,
Tamiya.
Mark Ones, um, that thing still, for it holds its own, man. I mean, it's a great kit,
Now I
even with
gotta
the
tell
kit
you,
decals.
what is that one that Samo is building right now? That damn thing is.
That's like a 32 scale. I think it's a Mark 14. It's
Mar-
got the Griffin engine in it,
oh my God, it
and
is wicked. He has just
uh,
killed it.
yeah, I forget what conversion set he's using, but it's the Hasegawa, main fuselage and wing area. But then um, the tail section, the forward fuselage with the Griffin engine, uh, all that stuff is conversion, and he'd have to be on here to tell you
Yeah,
exactly what.
we need to
And
yank him over here. We do because that's
again, that's another podcast episode
yeah,
right there,
and
man.
that's yeah.
Because he could go on for a while about that,
Well,
and
yeah.
what he did to make it look as good as it does. Um,
Well, I mean, there's some serious body work going on with that airplane that he did.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
um, it's pretty cool. I hope to see that on the table in Las Vegas.
yeah, man.
Yeah, right. So that's another thing
I
for all
think I'm
you.
going to Vegas, man.
I know I'm going.
It's in the back of my head that
Yeah,
it's like you said the other night when we were talking about it's Vegas,
yeah.
it's the
Well,
Nats. When is
it
that
is.
happening again? So and
You know,
especially coming out of the bust of uh this past year with Nats being canceled. That thing. Yeah, everyone's starving for it. So
thank God they
um,
bringing Texas back in though because that's home. So I'm
yeah,
looking forward
man.
to San Antonio coming back, and
Man, we
I'm
were
I'm
all looking
counting
forward
those
to heading
days.
down there for that.
Yeah.
We got friends down there in the area that we were all going to hang, and
Well, I mean that's
um,
home. I'm literally 12 miles from San
yeah,
Marcos. That's
and we all did the model Fiesta a few years ago and had a great time hanging in the San Antonio and Austin area
yeah,
and everything like that. So yeah, that's definitely, man, that was going to be huge,
yeah.
and
That's
it'll be huge when it does kick around in 2023. Uh,
yep.
definitely heading there, man. Even my wife and the daughter were heading because Austin, they wanted to head down there for music and tattoo shops and all this
Oh
other
yeah,
stuff, man. And I was
that's
like,
supposed
whatever,
to
you
do it.
ladies, come on along,
I
man. We'll
remember,
make it a family
and
trip, and
and Grumps. I'm sorry for straying off course here a little bit, but yeah, days of my youth hanging out down on Sixth Street and listening to Fabulous Thunderbirds and all those
yeah,
guys play down
you
there.
know,
It wasn't unusual to or uncommon to walk into a bar and see them playing in a bar setting. So Sixth Street in Austin, I've been there in years, but I can't wait to get back there. But the closest alligator to the boat's Vegas, and I don't know how many of you grumps out there are planning on going, but give us a thumbs up if you are. Maybe we could put
I think
together
I might
some
have.
sort
I
of
think I definitely might have to uh, lock it in and just go.
yeah. Oh,
Now
you do.
are you already
I'm
booked
going.
up
I'm not booked
at the
up, but
venue, or
no, it doesn't
I
matter.
mean it's Vegas. You can get a hotel room anywhere,
That's
man.
right, and
But
an Uber to where I need to go. So uh,
exactly.
I'm going, and if we can get enough grumps out there, maybe we can put a social thing on and you know get everybody
It'll
together
be
for a couple beers or something. That'd be a lot of
I
fun.
think that'll be, wow, what a venue. Because I mean, I've been to Vegas a bunch of times with the military and everything, and I'm not a gambler, I'm not a card
Oh,
player,
me neither.
uh, but I've always had a blast going there, regardless. You don't have to be in it, and that's a lot of people's misconceptions. I think about Vegas is you got to be a gambler to have a fun time there, and you don't. Just hell, you could go to the model thing, go to dinner at night, sit on the strip, and people
Oh
watch in the
yeah.
evening, and that'll be enough, man.
Oh no. Nowadays it's down on Fremont Street. I mean, that is just it's just unbelievable down there.
It's a good time.
Look
It's
at this. So Charles Lockhart says if they have it, he's going. So, and that'd be
yeah,
great, man. I think we need to get as many people as we can. Even Gil says, "What, a grump happy hour and a happy hour?" I'm always down for a grumpy happy
man.
hour, man.
Yeah, let's
Always.
well, that's definitely something that needs to get planned out. Then, if we do go, we do some on site uh broadcasting,
Oh, we could do that
maybe
too. Yeah. Oh
podcasting,
yeah, we could do that. We could do a
and
live from
definitely
there.
plan on get some get-togethers, man. I mean, because
So
that'd be fundamental right there.
I want to jump in here real quick because y'all saw me come in here. Was last week, I guess, and I did a little test deal. Um, and I don't know if y'all are putting two and two together, but you kind of see some new equipment coming and a little bit more testing happening here and there. Um, so there's some big things coming on our end over here, content wise. Let's just say. I mean, I really don't want to. I mean, the cat might be out of the bag a little bit, but I think there's some good stuff coming, and it's for you guys. So keep your ear to the ground and keep looking in the group because there's more news on this coming. And I will say that we had planned on starting this testing a lot earlier, but COVID has kind of gotten in the way and it's kind of pushed us down a different direction. But
Yeah.
there's some stuff coming, and hopefully you guys are going to come along for the ride. So I'm going to leave it there. Uh, One other plug I want to put in is on the Grumpy Old Scale Modeler YouTube channel. We did actually a little while ago, went over 5,000 members, and I hinted around to this in the last little live I did, but I never did my 5,000 member giveaway. So that's coming, and I plan on having that video up on YouTube to announce that officially, give out the official
Who is the
rules.
5,000th member? You have that
I don't.
nailed down?
I don't have that. Sometimes they come through so fast you just don't know which ones are which. But um, yeah, I've got some good stuff that I'm looking at pulling off my stash back here, and because this one will be sponsored by this guy. That said, if there's any of y'all out there that want to help sponsor some of these things, let me know. But this one will be sponsored out of my pocket, and it's to say thank you to all y'all for the subscriptions, and so keep your eye out for that announcement too. So, all right. So how many? Well, we're kind of down to a few less people here, but that's okay. I mean, conversation is conversation. Um, let's see. We got
It's
Mitchell
Saturday
Mark.
night. Notre Dame's playing too, man.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of news going on too. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but there's a
nope.
lot of folks tuned to the news channels right now too. So I get it. Um, Mitchell Margraf joined us. Mitchell, where are you from? Let us know. Drop us a comment. Tell us where you're joining us from. Uh, and Sam never came back to tell us what was on his bench, did he? Sam Morgan, where is he at?
I'm gonna have a word with that kid, man.
Yeah, we need to. You know what we ought to do tomorrow? We ought to go out to the RC flying field and nop a net, thump a knot in his noggin. So, uh, guys, I'm seeing some folks jump in and out of here. You've got myself, Darren, aka Old Grumpy One, and we've got Whitey, Andrew White, one of my good buddies here from our local club, and a dedicated grump. Just coming to you guys tonight to have a cocktail and talk a little scale modeling. But what are you guys? You guys got any questions for us out there? Post them in the comments. Let us know what it is you want to talk about. I could tell you right now, this guy right here is a wealth of knowledge. So let's pick his brain while he's here, huh? And of course, I'm sure he'll be monitoring the comments after this too, and following up. You know, and I know I know a whole lot about nothing. No, I know a little bit, well enough to be
That's
dangerous.
well
So
rounded, man. Right
yeah,
there,
so maybe
knowing enough to be dangerous.
yeah. I am going to put out a plug real quick though. So you had that F-16 taped up. What tape is that you're using on there?
Uh, it's
Do I
Tamiya.
want to know? Is that Tamiya?
Yep. Um, I keep it simple, man. That's the stuff that's readily available. Uh, obviously,
Yeah.
being down here, we don't have a hobby store down the street from us, so everything's
No.
I'm ordering online, man.
Yeah. Oh no, me
I'm,
too.
I'm a Sprue Brothers regular.
I
So that's my supplies. That's basically where that's my go-to. And masking wise, I mean, I keep a roll of 2-inch frog tape for large areas as well.
yeah. You have to
That stuff's
detack the
great.
hell out of that stuff
Um,
though.
but uh, the Tamiya Kabuki tape is pretty much what I use almost exclusively, and
Yeah.
and I'm not uh, coming out saying I'm Joe Pro Modeler here or nothing, but I just find it's the easiest to work with. I have their vinyl tape as well, um, but I've shied away from that because I think for me it's just I don't think it's thin enough.
Well,
As far
no,
as
you're absolutely right. So if you
I
get
love
right
how
up
it
next
bends
to it or
around a
close,
corner.
it'll
Yeah, you're
build an
gonna have a
edge
yeah, you will.
or paint line.
You'll build that edge. So like on this particular model, everything was kind of a straight shot masking wise.
Well, I I actually did a
About the
review of this
only
stuff.
area I had
Go ahead. Oh, and man, he froze, and that's not a good look, Whitey. But while we wait for him to come back, I actually did a review of this rice paper tape here from Masterpiece Models, and that's kind of where I was going with the question to him because I've been using this stuff, and you know, it comes in a much bigger roll, but this stuff is awesome. I mean, it's very very thin, and I'm glad he mentioned the hard edge because it's this stuff here is very very thin. So I got a question now. Vince or Gil came to me and asked about some Hataka orange versus MRP, and we'll come back to that here in just a second. I don't want you to think that we're forgetting about your question, but while we're on the subject, I want to go to Jim Mills here, who asked, to mask canopies, is using liquid mask the best? Well, in my opinion, it depends. So it depends on what you're doing, and it depends on what you've done to it. So there's a lot of debate out there about future. It's a dirty word in parts of the modeling community. Now, that said, I think that products out there have a place for certain applications, and I have used it to dip canopies in the past. I've also used it to clear up car model windshield. So I don't use it all the time. It all depends on scratches and so on and so forth. But to that point, if you've used any type of acrylic, some of these masking fluids are ammonia based, okay, and will eat through that. So if you're using it on a raw canopy, I see no issues using it. Now, obviously, you're not going to get a sharp edge up against the canopy frame when you do that. Now, one of my favorite masking solutions is, especially for canopies, stand by here, is this stuff called Parafilm M. Now, this is a laboratory type material, and I can cut it off. Now, it's paper backed here, but if I cut a piece of this stuff, like so, I can pull, it's kind of waxy feeling, but it's clear. So I can pull this paper off, okay? And it's translucent. See, it's fairly thick. But what I can do is I could pull that. You could pull this stuff. Okay. Oops, I had a little cut there, so it ripped it. But you could pull it, and you'll see it start to stretch. Right. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm pulling wrong. But let's just look at this end here. You can see where it's gotten thin. Now that is hair thin. Okay. And when you take it, and I don't have, you know what I do have? Hold on a sec. Because this is a, okay, so Whitey's coming back in here. Let me let him in real quick and bring him up. Stand by here. Yeah, he's still frozen. So if you take, like I could take this this cup here, and I can pull that stuff around there, and you'll see that stuff gets tight. And as it gets tight, it gets tacky, and it sticks on there. Now what I can do is I can take my sharp knife, and I'm sorry, this is real quick. I might be able to do a tutorial on this and stick it up there, but on YouTube. But now I can cut this stuff just with light pressure. And when I pull this off, I didn't cut all the way through. It will actually cut through it and leave it on there. So, I mean, I can throw together a quick tutorial, or if you drop me an email, I can explain it a little bit better. Okay, but it's absolutely some of the greatest stuff on the face of the planet when it comes to masking canopies. Good stuff. So, looks like we got Whitey back.
Do we or don't we?
Yeah, you're back. It's a little slow, but your bandwidth acting up just a little bit. So
Yeah,
I was
it
just
is.
I was just talking to Vince, or to Gil. I'm sorry, I'm getting my name screwed up. Jim Mills, who had asked, masking canopies using liquid mask the best, and basically what I told him was, if he treated anything with any type of acrylic, aka the dreaded future, it's
Yeah.
gonna some liquid mask will tend to eat that because of ammonia base. Uh, so we got into talking about my favorite, which we've discussed before,
Do you
paraffin.
like that best
Uh, uh,
for canopies?
well, I'm going to go back to it again. It depends. You know,
Yeah,
some
it always depends
canopies,
because it depends on
you
what.
know, this
If
one
I'm doing
here
it,
was easy to mask with tape. But
yeah,
if I'm doing a
long.
B25 or a B17, that's a whole
You know what
different
I'm doing?
animal.
You know what I'm doing then? I'm getting on eBay and buying the Eduard or the
Well,
whoever
there you go.
masking.
So that's
These days, uh, I don't mind. You know, I'm by no means rich, but $6, $4 on a masking set from Eduard or
that's a
I'm
great
trying to think
point.
of other brands here, but Easy Mask, Easy
Easy
Mask.
mask.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to plug them real
Uh,
quick because they made me happy this past week. Um, Easy Mask he's a guy out of Canada. I think just a single guy. Chris Loney, I believe his name is. I have his name up and look at it, but I'll probably lose my bandwidth again. Anyway, 172 scale monogram B36. How no one has done a masking set for that up until now is beyond me. I think what the heck is their name? Black Magic guys, Cutting Edge, Dave guy. I think he did a set years ago, vinyl mask when he first started doing vinyl masks for that kid. And I think Newware, there were another group of guys. I think they're out of Eastern Europe somewhere too. But again, it's hard to find and all that stuff. And but you would think like when I think of model kits that are out there that are hard to mask canopy wise, because typically I would grab a roll of Tamiya tape and a number 11 blade, and I can mask any canopy. But when you're talking that 72 scale B36, no thanks, man. No, life's too short.
yeah,
So these
so
guys,
certainly.
I just happened to been thinking about it the other day, in like last weekend, and I shot them an email because I saw their address in the back of Fine Scale Modeler, and I was like, I'm gonna drop these guys an email or guy. I don't even know if it's one guy or what, but so I shot him an email saying, hey man, will you guys ever consider this subject? And no kidding, got an email back the next day, said, hey man, like that's in our current releases right now, like the next day he like released his November 2020 releases, and that was like uh number one on the new release list. So I was like, oh, okay, great. So I'm
Well,
ordering two of those sheets, man,
yeah.
because
Well,
I don't. I mean,
to me, a tape works great. And, if you take your time, you can really do it right. And, the one thing I like about this Tamiya F-14 is it came with the set of masks for the outside. And a lot of times, I'm a big fan of painting the inside of a jet canopy, especially if you're going to have it
yeah,
open. Okay, because I don't
yeah. If
like the
it's open,
gloss on
definitely.
the outside. I like it flat black like it's supposed to be, or whatever it
Yeah,
is. And
that's
here's
what's
an
great about
example:
Montex.
here's the inside of that
Yeah,
F-14 canopy, which I was able to mask using Tamiya tape in the mask I have, and I just reversed it, right? So I was able to lay it out, and then actually I photo or scanned the sheet and used them as
yeah.
templates, and it works
There
great.
you go.
So, you know, and then there's also, if you're into designing your own, which I know some folks that are, using the Cricut cutters or the others to make your own mask.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
certainly
Those things are
masks are the
great
way to
too.
go. I
I've been
don't
working some
know.
practice, I guess, but
Yeah, I do use some of the masking fluids. I use this stuff, and I've had pretty good luck with it not affecting uh, my lacquer or my acrylic lacquer hybrids. Mr. MRP or MRP, and to me, it's done fairly well. But it's not something that I would maybe use to do a whole canopy.
no, yeah. I'll use that to fill in the gaps.
Yeah,
Um, but I want to make sure when it comes to a sharp edge that I have that sharp edge that a piece of masking tape's gonna
yeah.
give me.
Now I want to go back real quick to Gil Vincent's question. He posted in. He posted on the group. You know, yeah. Well, two comments. There's probably not many people out there using the Hataka paints here, U.S. stateside. And I'm not familiar with the Taka paints. I haven't used them. Now I know there's some YouTubers out there that I've seen who use this stuff almost exclusively, but they're all over in Eastern Europe. So I don't know much about it, but I do know about MRP, and I I have a ton of it, MRP, and I love it. Absolutely love MRP paint. Um,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
it is good stuff. I do probably 80% of my work with an airbrush. I do very little brush painting unless I'm doing detail stuff. Um, if I can find a way to mask and spray it, I'll spray it. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
And,
man.
and
Me too
MRP,
anymore.
yeah, MRP is pre-mixed. I haven't had to add anything to it. And even for those that do, and Scott taught me this, I think you do it the same way, and that's thinning the guns paint way down, right, to like 10% paint to 90% thinner, and building
Yeah,
layers. I don't have to do
even
that.
not just the gunsy, but the well, gunsy.
Guns,
Um, and when we're
Tamiya
talking
Tomahawk.
now, we're talking the aqueous, not the
Yeah,
model Mysticolor. Um, but either way, like either that. I mean, I'm Tamiya, Gunsy, and Mysticolor are my go-to paints. And yeah, same here. I mean, and again, I learned that from Samo is just man keeping the stuff water thin, and I do the same thing with the Tamiya. And lately, I've been using Mr. Leveling thing with
yep.
Tamiya, and
That's
I know that's
that's
not
all I
nothing
use.
that's new, but I mean, I have some of the X20 thinner, but the MLT just dries faster.
Yep. Well, it's
And
that leveling quality to it too, so it just makes it so smooth.
yeah, especially with I want yeah, I want that I want it to self level and flatten out and everything like that. So you know, like, water thin and multiple coats and not thick. You know, you're missing it on, man. I think a lot of people just want to shoot and be done, and
Yeah.
that's just not the way to roll. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
The
it's
I you know
that's what
the
led me to um, those paints. What led me to acrylic. Oh, that method is what led me to acrylics, really, because
yeah.
I used to be an enamels guy, and being here in the confines of my bunker,
Oh yeah.
um, well, I wasn't going to shoot enamels down here anymore. My standard practice used to be to build and go out to the garage to paint things, but then you're dealing with weather and
Yep.
humidity and hot and cold and all that stuff, and
Yep.
and then finally people are like, oh, just shoot acrylics, man. Um, particularly the Gunzy and the Tamiya, because I can sit here at my bench, be comfortable, have the radio on, TV, whatever, and paint at my leisure, not kill myself with fumes, and not be in a rush.
Right.
Mainly, that was the main thing, because and to enjoy it. Looking back on it, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I didn't enjoy when it came time to paint camouflage or something like that. I was like, oh man, I got to go out in the garage and swat mosquitoes and deal with humidity. And I use a CO2 tank, so I really didn't have to worry about spitting water all over the place. But I'm still dealing with sweating my ass off all day in the summertime,
Yeah.
or freeze my butt off in the winter. And finally, the thing was, here I am. I'm invested in Model Master paints and Humbrol enamels, and what's the other one I really liked? It was Extra Color enamels were really great enamel paints. So now I'm going to dump all that and then turn around and try to accumulate in a collection of paints in a whole different brand and type. But that was a decision I made, and I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go that route, and I did, and couldn't be happier. I like shooting them. 100%. I mean, to me anyway. I hear people, or I'll see online with people saying, I'm so used to shooting enamels that I can't swap to. I'm having a hard time. They're dealing with issues or whatever. And I don't know. For me, it was I just thinned it the same. I'm not going to get into ratios because I don't do
Right.
that.
Well,
For me, it's
ratios all depend, though, right? So,
yeah, it's so
the
variable.
yeah.
To me, it's by eye and by this sounds stupid, but a buddy of mine, Gabe, has said the same thing. Gabe Pincelli, who's a very great model out of Texas. Sound, when you're shooting, you're listening to your airbrush,
Oh, so
and of course,
spitting mirrors.
you're also
Yeah.
gonna, yeah, you're gonna
Yep.
test on a mule and stuff anyway. Or even for myself, I always wear a glove, final vinyl glove or
Hmm.
whatever when I'm holding my stuff. So I'll always use that as a test palette too. I'll shoot it onto the glove and see what the pattern's looking like, and go, okay, cool. My air's good, my flow's good. That's what I check with. I don't look at the gauge necessarily. I
Yeah.
mean, I can kind of adjust to about 10 to 12 psi, but then I'm shooting onto my glove and looking at what it looks like spitting onto that plastic glove,
Yep.
and it's going to look that way
I
shooting onto the plastic. So
I always test before I spray. I'm looking for that spit pattern, right? And then when I get
yeah, dude.
to where I can get that line, so it is all by feel. And but that go back to
Yeah,
the MRP. That's why I like the MRP so much. It takes all the guesswork out of about 90% of it because it's already
yeah,
pre-thinned. And I don't think I've
yeah.
ever had a problem with a spit pattern or a clog or anything with MRP. And I will also say that their customer service is like off the chain. I actually got 2 bottles of light
Where
gold
do you buy
gray.
yours from?
I get mine from hobbyworld.usa dash
Okay,
USA. Uh,
I think they're out of like what, New Hampshire or something like that, right?
yeah, they're up
Yeah,
northeast. But light gold gray. I bought 2 bottles, and it was completely off, man, from the last bottle I did. Now I was in the middle of this F-14. I'm like, my
yeah. I saw
God,
you
man.
post about that, man.
And
I wonder what happened there.
it was a bad batch. So the folks over at MRP had seen the post and they hit me back and they asked where I got it from and they said they're putting 2 bottles in that and it will go up to Hobby World USA and I'm gonna get that with my next order
Oh wow,
free of
no
charge.
kidding.
So
So they realized that they had
yeah,
a bad batch, huh?
yeah. So I back to Gil's question. I'm sorry I can't really give you any pros or cons on the Hataka. I haven't used it, but uh, I am a
Definitely
solid
give pros
fan.
on the MRP though.
Yeah, I'm a solid fan of the MRP, and I'm not saying that because
Yeah.
I don't know those guys from Adam. I've never met them before, and the only interaction I've ever had was because of that snafu with the dark gold gray. So it's not giving a plug for buddies or anything like that. That is literally just a good experience. So they get my vote. Now Hataka paints could be just as good, and maybe I need to try them. I don't know. You know,
I think Frildo's tried them. I
really.
want to say he's shot some. Maybe he'll chime in and tell us one way or the
Frildo, are
other.
you
I don't know.
still on? Frillo,
I mean, I've seen
where you
their
are?
paint sets at
Let's.
contests and stuff like that, and I like the fact that they package their stuff um, for in sets. I think that's
Yeah,
cool.
they do. Yeah,
Um,
well, Vallejo did that too, but that's a whole different story. Let,
yeah,
I
I
want to see
mean,
if I can summon up Frill here. Let's give him the call. All right, that's the Frill call. Where's he at?
that's so annoying, man.
It is annoying, isn't it? But it's so much fun. Okay, and Jim Mills asked me, and I'm sorry, Jim, we got off on a tangent here for the paints, but will I share the link for the masking in the group? Okay, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific, my friend. I'm sorry. Are you talking about for the tape review? Let me know what it is you want in the comments, and I will oblige,
Yeah,
my friend. I'll put it in there. I promise you.
tape with a liquid mask.
Yeah. Well, so when you had your bandwidth snafu there, we got off to talk about. So I'll go back to it real quick.
Okay,
You
I
were
probably
talking
missed that.
about kabuki
I,
tape,
I
and
Well, yeah, I know. Previous to that, I was talking about Tamiya's vinyl tape, which I like
yeah,
and everything. I love how it'll bend around a curve. And what I was going to show was the underside of the F-16 I'm doing. Okay, I hope I don't lose myself again here, but
yeah,
and you're probably not. It's probably tough to see right now with it all masked up. But if you're familiar with the underside of the YF-16, the prototypes, this area back here is rounded as it comes to the afterburner area,
yep,
and so um, what I did there was I used Tamiya tape and an X-Acto blade and a ruler and just cut myself a nice thin, long strip of it and bent myself a curve, um, and then filled it in. Common practice, right? The vinyl tape would have done that a lot easier. The Tamiya vinyl tape, and I
yeah.
have the thin one. Yeah, I think they do a 1, a 3, and a 5.
Got it right here.
There you go. Yeah, and
But it's very
I
hard to
love that it'll.
control.
I love that it'll bend a curve,
It
but
will, but it's good for like a camouflage or something. But trying to do a solid curve and keep it straight is rather difficult actually
yeah,
with this stuff.
difficult. Yeah, I agree. I had that issue when I was doing the that DC 130 that I did, the 148 scale C 130 drone shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got some long straight lines and that go around into a curve along the fuselage, and I could get the curve great, but I couldn't keep the straight pot straight. So I wound up going back to again just cutting long strips of kabuki tape,
Yeah.
Tamiya tape, and that just worked for me.
Well,
Other
I
people have different experiences, man. I
yeah.
mean, that's why the thing about this whole hobby is what works for one person might not work for someone else.
Well, that's
Some
true.
guys love
I
blue painter's tape is the godsend, and I'm sorry I can't
I
use
have
that
some of that
stuff.
too. I mean,
And again, I
it
mean,
all
I'm not going to
depends
say
though.
it's, again, I have a roll of frog tape behind me in my drawer, and
Well,
it's and that's where if I'm gonna, I use I use half a roll on that
well,
masking off
so
that DC 130, man.
so
Trust me.
here's the long and short of it. There are, you have point A and you have point B, and there might be 100 different ways to get from point A to point B, and there are none of them that are the way to get from point A to point B.
Yeah,
The overall is, did you get to point B? And if you did, share how you did it, because it
yeah,
might work
man.
for somebody else. And this
And
stuff,
that,
I'm telling you, this is cheap, and I don't want to
yeah,
waste good
no
tape.
doubt.
I'll detack the shit out of this stuff
Yeah, as
and
long as
use
it's
it to mess.
3M, though.
That's right.
If
Well,
it's blue, it's got to
it's
be
Scotch,
3M.
Scotch 3M, but I'll
Oh, there you
detack
go.
it and
See?
use it. But that's the key, is detack it, because it will pull some paint off.
Yeah.
Uh, but how do you get from
But
point A
just
to point B? It's
like I said, exactly. So to back up just a smidge there, if you, man, I would hate to be someone new to this hobby coming in, because you're going to hear so many different opinions and ideas because of stuff like this, because of the internet, because there's 9,000 different websites out there. Um, and all I can say, experience, go, you learn by experience,
That's exactly right.
with this or anything else. Um, but then also, on something like this kind of a forum, the Grumpy page, what I love about it is you do have guys that are brand new to the hobby, and old school, you know, I'm not going to use the word experts or pros either. Um, but I mean, I suppose they're out there. Um, and I don't know. I guess my point is, I don't think any one answer is the answer for everybody. Again, a roll of frog tape is great. A roll of 40 millimeter Kabuki Tamiya tape is better,
Yeah, well,
in my opinion,
absolutely,
though. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
And
Um,
you know, it used to be. I remember sitting there with my tube of testers and learning and going from, you know,
man, yeah, all
and
those
learning myself.
blue
Now I will
strings all
say,
over the place.
yeah, but when you say, and this is a great topic to have in another a little live that and maybe we need to do that. But when we talk about the resources we have now, and all the people talking about the best way to do this and the best way to do that, you know, well, the best way may have worked for you, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the best way for the next guy. So, you know, I think that's a great
Exactly, man.
topic to really dive into, because
Yeah.
we could do another hour on that alone. But uh, where I was going with the tape deal, my buddy John Geigel, he has Masterpiece Models up in Washington, and he sent me this tape. This is rice paper tape, and man, that stuff is
Okay.
thin as hair. It really really
Nice.
works good. So, uh, you know, it's a little bit cheaper.
Have you used it yet?
I have used the heck out of it, and I
Yeah.
really like it. There's also this stuff. Let me find it here. I'm sorry, I got to dig around because it's falling down to the bottom of my junk drawer here. I only use a roll
We
of
didn't
it
know we
out
were going
again.
to do a tape segment tonight.
Yeah, no, it didn't. But Will Patson, he 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 did a whole thing on this stuff, and this is the true washi tape. And he really did a
What is that
video.
exactly?
Well, so it's a rice paper, and I'm sure he's going to correct me when I get this wrong. Uh, but a rice paper type tape, true tape, the true washi tape, which is what they call Tamiya tape, right?
Gotcha.
But this is Kamoe paper, which it even says washi on it, and it's a whole hell of a lot cheaper. And I use
Where do
it,
you get
man,
that?
on Amazon. And I use it.
Okay.
Matter of fact, this is a roll. I mean, look how many rolls were in there. I've only used one of them on the end, my green one. I don't care if it's pink. I'm
Yeah.
gonna use the hell
I
out of
could
it.
care what
So
color it is.
there is a video that he did on tape, and I'm gonna give that man props. He and I talk every now and again. He does come off a little brash every now and again, but he's really good at what he does, and he's very knowledgeable. So, if there's anybody out there who wants to know a little bit more about that tape, let me know. I'll point you in the right direction to his episode. There are just some things. So we talk about getting from point A to point B. There are some things out there that are just fact. It
Yep.
just is, and
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of those deals when it comes to different types of tape. That's just fact. There's no. Now you might not like one brand over another, and that's okay. But fact is fact. It's just what it is.
Agree.
So anyhow,
And you know, like anything else, man, try out. I don't know, experiment. You know,
absolutely.
no, too. That's. I mean, I know when I started, I used to use Scotch Clear, like gift wrapping tape. You get that used to be my go-to for masking canopies, man, back in the early '90s and stuff. So
I'm sorry, I popped off there for a second. I wanted to grab something. You talk about experiment. Everybody should have one of these. Everybody.
a mule, yeah,
Everybody should have a mule. And I say this in all my YouTube videos, especially when I'm doing stuff like decal tests and different types of solvents. You better
yeah,
put it on one of
or,
these before
or a
you
clear
commit
coat
it
of this kind
to
of
one
paint or
of
that kind
these.
of paint. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to waste your hard, or all your long hours and time, if I say, and ruin it. Now, I want to pop back here for just a second because what Vince was talking about was the Parafilm M.
Vince or Gil?
Sorry, Gil. Oh no, he said this. It was
Gil
I'm sorry,
Vincent.
it was Jim. It was
Okay.
let me go back. I'm sorry guys, I gotta find it right here. That stuff you were talking about that's medical grade. Okay, that's the Parafilm M. And
Yep. Great stuff.
I'll throw that out there. Now, there's more you can do with that stuff than just masking canopies too.
Yeah, and also I'll throw out too that get on Amazon and buy that stuff. Don't buy it from a hobby
No,
retailer
no.
because it's again it's lab equipment stuff.
Yep.
And on Amazon you can get like a 5,000 foot roll for
Yeah.
like fraction of lemon in a.
I, I've actually
I think
got a
Model Master
roll
used
up
to
here.
market that stuff.
I think my roll weighs about 10 pounds. I've got more than I could use in like
Yeah,
30 lifetimes. So, but it's
yeah,
it's really
definitely
good
buy
for
that
stuff
stuff on
like,
Amazon.
you see that gray
Yeah, man.
that gray
There you go.
piece, that gray
Uh
piece
huh.
and the dark piece up top was masked off with Parafilm M. And I have
Yeah.
masked this, no
Now, how do you
kidding.
do it? Do you lay it out on a piece of glass or something first and trim
Oh
it
no.
with your X-Acto, or do you
No,
just
this
stretch it
this
straight? And
I stretch it and put it right over the top. This stuff here is great because those are all
gotcha.
recessed panel lines.
I'm gonna say,
So
all
my
right, I got you,
yeah,
man.
so my sharp knife just follows that stuff
All right, so
like
that's
right
a way
along
to
a
do it.
ruler.
Yep.
And I've
Yeah.
actually put. I bet you I've remasked this like 5 different times with Parafilm M.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great thing about it. It's not gonna mess up paint at all,
Nothing, nothing. That stuff is great. I love it.
especially with metals. You
Well, so that's
yeah.
why I did this, right? Some of
Cool.
I used AK Extreme metals on this, and remember back when they had problems, those AK Extreme metals would just peel off with tape. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I have on that chrome ring right there. You can see right there. See that booger? It pulled off. So
Oh.
that's
Okay. From
oh
what? From parafilm though,
no,
or
from tape. I had a
gotcha. All right.
very thin, so I sprayed all this AK Extreme titanium, and then I cut a
Yeah.
very thin strip of Tamiya tape, and the Tamiya tape
Gotcha.
pulled that
Yeah.
little piece of silver off. So
Yeah. I know one thing. Uh, Parafilm M was always a saver for me when when you get to that point in the build where the decals are already down.
Oh yeah,
and you got a
yeah. It
boo
won't stick
boo,
to them.
and you got a mask over a decal. Man, paraffin mail is not going to harm a decal.
That's right.
Uh,
Exactly
you
right.
can
So,
demask tape, Tamiya tape and stuff like that to a degree,
yeah,
but you're still running a risk when you lay it down over a decal.
you
Whereas
are.
really, you don't really have to sweat that when it comes to para. If you're using parafilm.
And we'll go back to uh, the canopies. So you you really need to have and here again practice, right? So get a mule out, get some old canopies you've got, try it on those first, because you really need to have a very sharp blade and a very light hand because
Yeah, and
because you can,
a good edge to run it on too. I
yeah,
mean, some models just don't have a decent mold line
they don't.
to
So
run your blade along.
Tim Holland, who is actually the president of our local club here, he suggests using these, and I agree with him because you can put it in there sharp blade and you can roll it into your corner
Yeah, man.
and roll it
Is
into
that
your corner.
is that a surgeon scalpel or is it
Well, no, this is
or is
just
that
an exacto, round exacto, but
exacto? I forget. Yeah, like a
I
number
can't.
two or something like that.
Yeah, I can't, this is a 10, exacto
Yeah,
10.
man. Okay.
But you can roll it, and especially if you've got a compound surface, right? So you could get right up next to the canopy frame and just roll it right over into the corner
Yeah.
instead of having to try and scrape across it. So lots of different ways to get from point A to point B, man. You know.
That's modeling though.
Yeah. No,
It's
agreed.
problem solving.
Agreed.
That's why it's a great hobby. It keeps the brain functioning.
It does.
Um,
Always looking for the next
Old
best
farts like us,
idea.
it wards off Alzheimer's for sure.
That's right. That's
I
right.
mean, honestly, there's studies out there, man. You know, I'm no math whiz, so I stay away from those Sudoku puzzles, man.
You know,
They say those are good for Alzheimer's, keeping Alzheimer's at bay as well. But I can't figure them out, man.
my best friend was just here this past.
I failed algebra twice in high school, so I'm
Yeah,
not even gonna mess with Sudoku puzzles, man.
my best friend was just here the last couple
Good
of
thing I was
days,
a
and
flight engineer.
he wakes up every day, and the first thing he does is a Sudoku puzzle and the crossword. And he was
Yeah,
just
trying to
he's just
keeping
rattling
that
right
brain
through
rush
them,
away, man.
and I'm like, oh my god, man, you're making me sick. Where's my cup of
Yeah.
coffee? So anyhow,
See, but
well,
him sitting here watching you try to figure out how to, you know,
how to make
navigate masking
how to
a
make an
full frame canopy
how to make an itty
or
bitty
a
remove
remove
before flight tag, man. That I can't hardly
exactly,
see. So
Yep.
all right,
No, I mean, I'm 100% on board with the idea that it's a great brain exercise. The hobby is problem solving, man.
yeah, it is.
Uh, great for it
All right. Well, hey, Whitey,
and
it's look,
fun.
it's pushing 9:15. I think
Raj.
we've kept these guys here for an hour and 15 minutes. Man, the time flies when you're having fun. But for all you folks, all you grumps out there that popped in here, my God, man, it was good to see you, and uh, I hope you guys like this. And for all y'all that will watch this replay uh, in the group, let us know what you think. I mean, I'm planning on doing this once every couple weeks. Uh, I might even do it a little bit sooner. It all depends, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys out there. There's 27.5 thousand of you folks out there. So let us know what you think. I enjoyed it. I don't know about Andy. I'm glad that you came on, Andy. And I
Hey,
hope that
sure,
we,
yeah. Thanks for the invite.
yeah, well, I think we'll do it more. It's a lot of damn fun. Um, so you know, there you guys go. If you got something out of it, let us know in the comments. If you got any questions, let us know. Um, and I'll be checking this over the next couple of days. I know I did delete the other two tests that I did. I'm not going to delete this one. We're going to leave it in there. As a matter of fact, I may even start a different section over for the grumpy or let's talk models, and that's actually what we call our local clubs meetings. Let's talk models.
Yeah.
but I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to steal it from the local club. I think it works well, and it's not patented anywhere. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. Steve thinks it's been great. Um,
All right.
and maybe some of these future little lives, we can get some other guys out there that we know from the community to come in and say hey and give their thoughts and insights and expertise to you guys. That said, you know, let me know if there's anything y'all really want us to talk about. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post in the description. I'm going to put the Grumpy Old Scale Modeler email address. So if there's stuff you guys want us to talk about, I'd appreciate it if you dumped it in there instead of flooding my PM box. Uh, that would take a while for me to go through that, and not only that, the wife would get a little bit upset in the middle of the night as my phone's going bring. So uh, I'll put that in the description. Go ahead and drop me an
Gotta
email if there's
put
something
it
you
on
guys want to
silent,
say.
man.
Well, I thought it was on silent last night. Damn thing went off at 11 o'clock, so it happens. So,
Yeah.
any parting shots, Andy? Anything you want to say?
No. Again, thanks for the invite. And yeah, if folks have questions or ideas, comments, or otherwise, man, throw them up there. Uh, but it's all about sharing ideas in the community, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, hold on real quick. So Gil just popped up here. Is the Grumpy website still active? He forgot his password. Gil, that had kind of fallen by the wayside, and my plan is to resurrect that and get it up and running again. So just hang tight. Uh, we're we're chomping away at things just a little bit at a time, but that one is absolutely on my list of to do things because I think that's going to be a great place. You start looking at some of these privacy things, and I don't want to get political. Y'all know how I'm with politics on the group, so I don't want to really go there. But there's been a lot of stuff in the news here lately about some of the social media platforms, and it's a little rocky. So I really think something that looks a lot like what we have here, but moved over to a freestanding place would be a good thing. So just keep your eye out. Okay, that's not dead yet. It's still hanging out there. The site's still there, but it's unmonitored right now. But we're going to resurrect it. I'm sorry, Wait. So back to you.
Mm. No, again, thanks for the invite tonight.
Roger.
Good chat.
It's been fun, and guys, we're going to sign off, and uh, until next time, keep your eye out for the next list talk models. Good night, guys.
Cheers. Good night.